Flashback.
Now one of my concerns, like sometimes when you not take pictures, when you look at hair, it might look good in certain lighting and not in others. And I didn't really realize, I'm like, all right, looking at this wig, the roots can be a bit much. The hair is soft though.
End of flashback.
Roots on this wig, and depending on the lighting that you're in, the color doesn't actually look bad. It's just that against my skin tone, like I think it could look a little bit better. So I'm going to be coloring the roots. Wasn't sure what I was going to use, and rather than buying stuff, since I have so many things in my arsenal, I mixed the Wella Color Tango. I don't even know if they make this any longer. So I mixed this with this. Oh, come on, focus. Color Brilliance. I don't even know if that's a thing that you should do, but that's where I'm at right now with it. And I'm going to use, I wanted to use volume 20 developer, but because the hair has already been lifted to blonde, I don't want to damage it. So I'm just going to use a volume 10 cream developer by Salon Care. So I'm going to be using this developer. And I'm going to mix that up and then apply this to the root. And hopefully I get something that's a little bit better. I more than likely will also tint the lace. Typically I don't tint the lace on blonde, but because the roots are dark, I'm gonna tint it. Now my tinting method, I use fabric dye. It's permanent, whatever works for whoever it works for, but it's affordable and it works for me. So if this is your first time watching me add roots, I always just go in and part it. And I, for the most part, apply it almost like I'm just dabbing the roots. Now, there are some places that got more than I wanted it to get. But typically when you're dealing with, you know, color or bleach, it tends to expand. So it's going to put it in more areas than you initially applied it. So I always go in and do a little. And sometimes in just parting the hair, it tends to spread. So if you notice on here, I'm just dabbing just very, very lightly. In addition to that, the roots are kind of like, I consider like a mouse, kind of grayish, blondish brown. And I wanted to have like a gradient effect. So me just going in and lightly dabbing the roots will give that effect. Now you notice here I use a spray bottle. I do recommend that you guys keep that on hand in the event that some of this darker color gets on the very high shade of blonde that this wig is. You know, you can always spray it this way. It doesn't darken places that you don't want it to darken. So definitely something that I recommend that you keep on hand. If you guys stay tuned, then you will see what the finished root color turns out to be. I think, you know, for someone who's not a professional, it turned out great. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I do also recommend that you cross-check the color. One of the things that I made sure that I went in and did, just because of how I parted it, I make sure the very front of the wig has color in places that color needs to be. Because you would hate that you wash it out, especially me, because I mix my own color and I don't measure. You would hate to have it not be in places where you want it to be. Because I typically don't measure, it would be kind of hard to mimic the same color. But yeah, so typically when you're coloring, just a tip, you want to make sure it's 2-to-1 ratio. It's usually 2 parts developer, 1 part color, if I'm not mistaken. Same ratio for bleach. So I would recommend doing proper measurements. Don't do the Kim method outside of the color combo, because the color combo is top tier. The roots are really dark, y'all. Pray for me, pray for me. Let's start with the middle first. I don't know if I mind the roots being this dark, to be completely honest, because I just really hated what it looked like before. And I did get it in some places that I didn't want to get it in, but overall, so far so good. You don't see? see what it's hitting for when it's dry. Do a little shampoo. I do think I'm gonna do a little bit of clarifying shampoo just to make sure everything is off, and then I'll go in with my purple shampoo. The worst thing to use on hair, but it was cheap and I bought it. Gotta finish it up. Necessity, but I love the way this wig came out. I also mentioned in that video that I added roots to this. I'm probably gonna upload the video maybe next week Wednesday. I did that like months ago, and this wig's just been sitting